Mosey!
Mosey came here and most talented guy to ever walk through. Next to Bob Dylan.
The act of producing is, okay? Let's see. When you're a producer, when you're producing a song, let's think about it in terms of a record label, okay? The record label wants a song for a certain artist. They hired a producer to produce the song. That doesn't mean that they're paying the producer necessarily for hot tracks. It's a part of it. There's a bigger picture to producing than making the track. For example, you could have a guy create the drums, drum machine, percussion. A guy create the keyboards and bass line and instruments and so forth. And the producer is there to guide them to get what's in his head onto the tape. Things have turned from that concept. It's no longer that, okay? But it should be, because they're in control of the song, getting it on tape, getting it mixed, who's gonna mix it, who's whatever. If they created the track, they need to make sure that it's the best track that it could be. And they got the right person mixing it and getting the sound right and mastering. That is what a producer does. If someone makes a drum track, create, a beat basically, and nothing transpires from there, they just have, a beat. They don't get anybody to rap on it. They don't get anybody to sing or anything. It's just a beat. Really, he just made a beat. He produced himself making a beat. Someone could have very well helped him create that beat, and they created it together. Whoever brought the situation to that environment and made it sound like it sounded was the producer, okay? Produced the track. If you make a track and you send it to someone because they bought it, and then they complete the song without any further input from you, you didn't produce that song. You produced a track on that song, okay? The person who was in charge from when they got your music to finishing it out and getting it to its destination, they produced the track, the song. That's how it works. That's how a lot of producers get caught up in a situation where, like they say, Dr. Dre don't produce nothing because other people be doing the tracks. That's not true. I watched Dr. Dre produce, and regardless of who did the track, he made it sound like it was supposed to sound. He created the environment for what it was. A lot of times he even told him what to do or what to take out or what not. He would take it from that point further. That is him producing the song. You figure deal me? People don't understand the difference. And we are also at an age where it's not important to artists if the producer is involved in the song. And now we're in an era where people want to get a hot track. They need that hot track. They don't care how they get it. Download it. Get it from wherever. It don't matter. They don't focus on making a hit song. I just need something to rap over. That's the era that we're in. And then there are people who drop records with that end result because they're thinking, how could I scoop up a bunch of tracks for real cheap and just get on there and say what I want? That's why we have the era that we have of music. That's why the music is that way. Because people are not focused on the realness of what a producer does and be able to give him the due that he is due for putting in the work to make it sound like it's supposed to sound. Now, you may have producers, young producers that's trying to come up and, you know, and they're trying to get in the game and do whatever it takes to make that happen. I've been there. I've heard all the excuses. I was always the one where I had to sit back and go, oh yeah, well, you know, we're not going to pay you as much money because people don't know who you are. But later on, people will pay you for what you do because you put in the work for it. And okay, great concept. But that's not what happened. Because I did what I did. I did well at it. I got accolades. And then I still have people who want to pay me like I'm a teenager just coming in the game. And they want to. There are people who have used me to do music for them. They have absolutely no idea what I do. There's people who love me for working with Tupac and have no idea what songs I did with Tupac, or the hours that I put in, or the sacrifices I had to make to work with Tupac. Because it was one of those instances. Like, the label believed in me. They had me working on stuff before I even worked with Pac. I was working with my dude Radio. Since, like, when Pac's first album came out, we was working on stuff, man. And they believed in me. They knew what I could do, but it had to build up to that. I was getting pennies for hard work, staying up all night, driving everybody in the studio, you know, to the studio with us. And I mean, I made a lot of sacrifices to do that stuff just to get back to the point where people still want to treat me like that, where they want to give me pennies. And I put in hard work. When I work on something, I'm not in here goofing off and yeah, it's hot. This sound like such and such. I'm trying to create my own lane, my own vibe. It's what I did when I worked with Pac. That's why he liked what I did. And Pac fought for me. He went into the label and was like, get this man what he want. Because in the beginning, my lawyer was fighting back and forth, trying to make that right. Because the work that I was doing was not the money that I was getting. So eventually I got to the point where I was making the right amount of money. And then, of course, he goes to death row. And then in everybody's mind, after that happened, Mosey quit making records. What? I have not stopped making records since I started. I make records every year. Some are major, some are independent. I do a lot of records where I'm developing artists. I do a lot of records where buddies of mine that, you know, grew up together and we want to just make some stuff together. I work every day on making music. It has never, ever stopped. And I understand, I never had that press, that Dr. Dre press, that Battle Cat where everybody's like, oh yeah, Mosey, this and that. I've always been humble. Even when I moved to Indiana and started hanging out with people out there and was playing with John Mellencamp, I wasn't running around going, oh yeah, I'm playing with John Cook and Mellencamp. I'm Mellencamp, Tupac producer, blah, blah, blah. There are people that for years did not know what I had done. They just knew I did music. Some of them don't even know Mosey. Use me because of what I know and what I could do. Because nearly everybody that I work with either went platinum or gold or have the ability to do so. But the record company game, hey, because I put in hard work. I've developed many artists since 1986. I've made many songs. I've produced many. I don't even every genre. I mean, I've gospel, rap, hip hop, rock, pop, punk, reggae, and it's all on YouTube. You can find all that stuff on there, man. And if you don't have a plan, guess what? You're not gonna make it in the game, because just having Mosey doing your track ain't gonna advance the whole situation. You got to know this, man. I don't care. It could be Battle Cat. It could be Dr. Dre. If they don't turn those screws to make it happen, and I know you saying Dr. Dre is fan, he can make anything. Yeah, he can. Will he? How many artists have been with Dr. Dre and ain't came out? Don't tell me. I know. It's even more than it was, you know what I'm saying? Like really taking it to a whole nother level.